To tell you guys. 3. Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to Libraviews. I'm Charlene. Subscribe to my channel and like this video. So I wanted to make a quick video really quick about this whole Caitlyn Jenner situation where she commented about transgenders in high school sports. And, legislation that's been going throughout the country of different states trying to make it illegal for transgenders to participate in, the male or female sport, I guess, that they, would fall into once they transition. So basically what Caitlyn Jenner was asked, I believe by TMZ, I'll leave the link in the in my bio. But basically, Caitlyn Jenner was asked how she felt about, transgenders participating in high school sports. She basically said she felt like it was unfair, and she felt like that they should have some type of protection for biological girls that play against transgender females that are biologically boys. And he basically said it was unfair and he was against it, basically. There was a little chatter here and there. While I was reading comments online, there were some people that were like, yeah, that's right, we agree. And then there were some people, of course, that were like, she's a bad representation for transgenders. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And they were kind of upset. I do know that when Caitlyn Jenner first transitioned, a lot of the people in the transgender community weren't really here for Caitlyn Jenner because they felt like she really didn't represent, the ultimate kind of struggle that majority of transgenders go through, such as, can't find a job, have to, oftentimes do sex work, oftentimes are abused, put down, even murdered. So they felt like, Caitlyn Jenner, first of all, you should not be representing, the transgender community, because at the end of the day, your story as a transgender is similar to, I guess, some people, but definitely nowhere near. It's kind of, I guess, an example would be, I guess, a person who's trying to, fight for people in the hood, but they ain't never been to the hood, lived in the hood, don't know nothing about the hood, never ate a Sunday dinner in the hood, you know what I mean? Like, never, have been around it, but yet you're trying to regulate, which is an example, if that makes sense. So when Caitlyn Jenner came out and said what she said about the transgender sports, a lot of people were like, she should have stood down, she shouldn't have said anything, blah, blah, blah. My whole thing about the situation is I agree with Caitlyn Jenner. You know what I mean? I believe that, transgender women that were biologically born as boys, should not compete in female sports. And I agree that transgender males that were born as females should not be participating in male sports. You know what I'm saying? I do not believe that a transgender male should be, participating in high school football. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. One thing that I find interesting is that, when I did research on instances of, transgender high schoolers and different articles about just anything pertaining to transgenders dominating or taking over or heavily participating in high school sports, and I couldn't find anything. So I'm like, is this really an issue? Like, is this an issue, or is this, just something that people just want to talk about? Because though, this is a conversation that, I guess needs to be had, and I guess we can have, but it doesn't seem like it's, multiple situations popping up to where as though this should be even being a conversation. However, it is a conversation, and we're here to talk about it. I watched Rodney the Voice, and Rodney the Voice basically said that he felt like, Caitlyn maybe perhaps could have, brought up another topic, maybe decided not to speak on this, because, Caitlyn, still operates as, a Caucasian male and not a transgender woman, in his words. And I agree with that. You know what I mean? I agree with, hey, if you ain't got nothing that's going to go towards the community, don't say anything at all, especially when we don't even really feel like you represent us like that. I find it interesting that Caitlyn is trying to run for governor of California. I don't think that she's going to be able to get much leverage with these ideologies that she has, as far as, transgenders and this and the third. But one thing I will say, Caitlyn was an Olympic athlete. If one would be able to, make a synopsis on an issue or a question about athletics, Caitlyn Jenner might be a good person to, maybe perhaps talk to. If you want to, maybe get some information, clarification about, laying a wig, I think Arrogant Tay, he's probably a good person that you might want to talk to about that. You understand what I'm saying? So, I think that, Caitlyn definitely has the background to say, hey, I think that it's unfair. Now, as far as, the whole transgender man versus woman, biological, non-biological, cisgender, all that, it is true. Men, boys are stronger than girls. You know what I'm saying? Not in every single case, of course. There are some men and women. There are some women that are stronger than men. There are some women that are taller than men. There are some men that are very short. There are some men that are weaker than. There are definitely instances where there are women that are stronger than men. However, the majority of males dominate women strength-wise and physicality-wise, and it just is what it is. Again, I don't think they should. It's just a weird situation, because it's like on one side, they say that, a lot of young kids aren't allowed to even transition. There's some transgender people that say, doctors don't even perform certain, sex changes on minors, and that it's kind of this illusion where people are like, cutting and dissecting youth's genitals, when that's not even really the case. So it's like, are these people really even transgender? Are these kids really transgender if they're not getting the surgery? You know what I mean? If you're 14, 15, or 16 and a doctor is not performing the surgery on you, and it's one thing if you have the surgery and you don't have your, but it's like, and then you still have the member, you know what I mean? And, I think we just need to get to a point where it's like biology matters. At the end of the day, I think everybody should be free to do and say and have whatever you want to do and have, whether it's, as long as it's legal, do you. However, common sense is common sense. And, as far as, do I think that transgender females that were biologically boys, or transgender females, child, listen, do I think that transgenders, male or female, should participate in, certain sports? Put it together, child. I can't, it's too much. No, I don't. I don't think that transgender females should be in female sports, and I do not think that transgender males should be in male sports. However, do I think that this is an issue that is so big, that needs to be, questioned with the trans community? No. There's so many other topics, as far as them getting, murdered in the streets, the fact that it's hard for them a lot of times to get assistance, the fact that it's hard for them to, find jobs because their ID says one thing, but they look a certain way. These are issues, I think, that are a little bit more, need to be discussed versus, talking about transgenders in high school sports. When I research it, I don't even see a lot of stories of, transgender taking over and this, that, high school sports. I don't even see a lot of reports on that. It just seems like people just, wanting to have an agenda and have something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Address the real issues that are affecting transgenders. You know what I mean? I was just watching an interview with a transgender named Peaches on that White Belly Soft channel or whatever, and she said she's 18. She's like, I try to get benefits, nobody will help me. this is the issues that you need to talk about. You know, getting addicted to drugs, sex work, and things like that. Not no goddamn trend high school sports or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take. I agree with Caitlyn, but I also agree that, you know, there are other more needy, you know, issues that need to be addressed in the trans community instead of transgenders in high school sports, when that's not even in a large issue. It's just people just want to talk and have something to create legislation about. So that's what I have to say. Hopefully that wasn't jumbo dumbo all over the place. I just wanted to come and put my 2 cents in. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and until next time, deuces.